How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Kaitlin Bennett and Joe Patrick basically being attacked at Ohio University. This is not Ohio State. That's in Columbus, Ohio. Ohio University is in Athens, about an hour some change away from Columbus. Anyway, they're on campus for President's Day. Kaitlin's there, just, wanting to do a man on the street type interview, asking questions like who were the first three presidents, real basic stuff, not anything major. Of course, Kaitlin is conservative, as is Joel, but they're not there just trying to incite stuff. However, a mob did form around them, and it got kind of testy to the point of violence. They're throwing things at him. They're, attacking Joel's truck, all kind of stuff. Now, before I go any further, let's go ahead and roll the footage. In this clip, you'll see what I'm talking about. You'll see the mob forming around them, and you'll see how they try to maneuver through the crowd. After we get done with that, I'll talk about what was done and said in the clip. I'll give you my 2 cents, my analysis, and then I'll wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Wait, get a picture of me, get a picture of me.
Hey, we need to get out of here. Hey, yeah, you need to get out of here.
That's not hateful, is it? Someone just poured hot coffee on me.
I dare you to push me again.
I'm not punching you.
I dare you to push me again.
I'm not pushing you.
You did. How did I end up on the ground? I got it on video. Exactly. That pushed me again. I dare you.
Poured hot coffee on me. All right, I'm coming back to this campus in a couple weeks.
That's somebody's car.
They say they're tolerant and they're loving. They're still throwing stuff.
You need to back up.
Joel, shut your window, Joel. These cops are watching this happen. There's another one. They're still throwing stuff.
All right, so you saw that, you heard that. Now, first things first, the elephant in the room for me is that I'm not surprised at all. Not in the least bit. Colleges in America have really gone down the tubes. Okay, this type of behavior right here, if I were to see that as a parent, if I had kids and I saw that kind of behavior, I would not want to send my kids to any university. Or if I did, I want to vet them first to see what was happening on campus. That's a dangerous kind of mentality to have, because it's a mob mentality. You see one person doing it, then somebody else doing it, and everybody kind of joins in. If you're conservative or right-leaning at all, you instantly are labeled as some kind of threat, and people want to try to gang up on you to attack you. Now, luckily, she had this gigantic tree-looking bodyguard there to help her get through the crowd. Shout out to my man Joel. Met him many times. Great guy. But this dude here had to been about 7 foot tall, so he was a good, protection for everybody that was there. Joel and Kaitlin and everybody that did not want to get assaulted by this crazy crowd. However, there were so many people, it's not much you can really do. So they had to end up leaving. Shout out to Joel's truck for having that train horn on it. I think that might have helped him out a little bit, because that horn is loud. I've heard it. You don't want to be right there in earshot of it. So that might have helped them get through the crowd. But it's a shame. They've come there to just, do man on the street type interviews, asking real basic questions. Now, I think, my opinion here, the reason why the crowd formed is because they did not like Kaitlin and Joel already. They may have seen them on Instagram and Twitter and stuff like that and deemed them as like persona non grata. You're not welcome here. Get out of the campus, get out of the town, that type of thing. because they're conservative, because Kaitlin believes in guns and the Second Amendment, and because Joel's a smart guy, also conservative. I mean, just because they have that particular point of view, that means that they can't be on the campus. And also, one thing that really kind of jumps out at me here, it always kind of jumps out at me, but I want to mention it right here to drive the point home, is the fact that Kaitlin obviously is a woman and Joel is obviously black. So I guess this whole, you know, we got to stand for women, we got to stand for minorities, that doesn't really matter anymore, right? You know, the solidarity, that don't really matter anymore if your viewpoints are different. You understand? Barack Obama is very well accepted because he's on the left. But if he were to be the same person with the same kind of views, but on the right, then he would not be accepted, okay? A good example would be talking about Bloomberg versus Trump. In many ways, they're very similar. They're also very dissimilar, but they're both New York kind of Democrats, really. And Trump changed some of his views to fit the conservative model, which is what we're all benefiting from right now. Bloomberg says some things that are way worse than Trump has said, but yet he's polling in number 2. People say, oh, because he got money, this, that, and the third. Well, Trump's money is not preventing him from being hated among the left, okay? But now all of a sudden, Bloomberg is saying some things that are worse than Trump, talking about black and Hispanics and stop and frisk, things that are worse than Trump has ever said, yet he's polling in very high and he's being accepted. Then the excuse now was, oh, he has money. Well, Trump had money too, but that's a different story, and I'll move on. The whole point is that you can do different things, get away with plenty if you are on the left, if you have the kind of ideology on the left. If you are a black person, gender non-conforming person, a woman, or any kind of other so-called minority, basically not a white male, if you fall into that category on the left, you get protected, you get all kind of safeguards and safe spaces and whatnot. If you fall into those same racial categories or gender categories or sexual identification categories, you happen to be on the right, all those protections go away. So it's not even so much about those particular groups, it's about your mentality. You can be part of our club if you fill in this little criteria, that criteria, that criteria, that criteria. If you don't have all the criteria there, if you're kind of on the right or a little bit right leaning, you get attacked, you get hot coffee thrown on you, you get all kind of random liquids thrown on you, you get your car surrounded, you get ran off of campus. And like I said from the beginning, if I were a parent, if I had children, I'd be not wanting to send my kids anywhere. Like, not even to, like, no colleges, trade school or something like that. I know I'm not going to get a riot at a trade school. Okay, they're going to be in there learning certain things and that's it. Or if my kids were to go to a school like this, I'd be like, okay, don't live on campus. Don't get involved in the college life. I have to, like, prepare them for the craziness that happens on campus. I went to college for a little while, but I never lived on campus. I went to a community college. You can't live on campus there. And then I went to a 4-year for 1 year. That was enough for me. I did not want any more. Hopefully at a certain point, we can just reform education, get some of these student loans tightened up. There's a lot of kids there that, quite frankly, do not belong there. And I think that if the student loans weren't guaranteed by the government, a lot of them couldn't be there. And like, these schools don't really care. The officers are there. They're not really doing much. They're just watching. They don't really care. They're just focused on getting these kids tuition. Okay. A lot of the same ones out there screeching and hollering and cussing and fussing when they graduate won't have any kind of job prospects, no opportunities and minimal skills, but they got a car note or a house note on their back as far as the equivalent in debt. Okay. 40 grand, 80 grand, 100 grand, 200 grand for what? Why? It doesn't make any sense, but I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that Kaitlin and Joel deserve to get attacked on the campus of Ohio University? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. Because I was seeing that in some of the comments. Oh, they know what they're going to get when they go there. They're looking for a reaction. They're conservative. Why should it be such a big reaction? Because they're conservative. I mean, why? They're asking real basic questions. Why can't you have a dialogue with somebody that happens to be on the other side of the aisle politically? And who's to say that all the kids on the campus are of a different political affiliation? They may find some conservatives, some middle of the road libertarians, liberals. Everybody should be able to be there, have a nice conversation and not have things get totally out of control. Okay, these kids got to tighten up, man, because once you go to the workforce, once you're in the workplace, you can't just throw hot coffee on a coworker because you disagree with them. You're going to get arrested, sir or ma'am or whatever. And if you say something crazy, HR will be called and you will be fired and you will be blackballed. Is that what you want? To anybody that's watching this and wants to attack Joel or Kaitlin, just check yourself, tighten up. Listen to what Joel says. Joel, like I said, met him before, very smart guy. Listen to him. He might say something that you agree with. Same thing with Kaitlin. I've never met Kaitlin, but I've seen her work and she has some very good points. Listen to what they say, have a conversation with them rather than just trying to attack them. That gets you nowhere. All that it does for those of us on the outside looking in is look at you guys on the left as a bunch of lunatics, a bunch of nut jobs that cannot control yourselves. But whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.